Here's a song that will get your heart rate up. Every time I sing the word up, reach for the stars. Every time I sing the word down, touch the ground. The rest of the time, march with your knees high. Those magnificent men in their flying machines, they go up to the up, up, they go down to the down, down. They enchant all the ladies and see all the scenes with their up to the up, up, and their down to the down, down. Up and down, flying around, looping the loop and defying the ground.
Welcome to the Powell River Airport in Powell River, British Columbia, Canada. Home of the Westview Flying Club and the Spirit of Mackenzie, my Sea Ray home-built seaplane. Off the end of runway 27 there on the horizon, you can see Vancouver Island, the mountains in the distance. The Salish Sea is the body of ocean between Powell River and the Vancouver Island. That's Harwood Island in the near distance. And the part of Powell River called Westview is just off the end of the runway and extends down towards the ocean. Yeah, so here we are, the Spirit of Mackenzie and I in all our glory. Well, hopefully we're getting near the end of this 6.5-year project to build this Sea Ray amphibious seaplane, an experimental home-built aircraft that I started building up in the little town of Mackenzie so long ago, and now here in Powell River, trying to bring this thing to completion. In the last episode, I was struggling with the landing gear actuators and electrical and control system. Today we're on a hike up to the top of Valentine Mountain, just to the east of the historic Powell River town site and a little south of Powell Lake. You can see the Salish Sea out there, the pulp and paper complex. Just to the right of that is the dam on Powell Lake and the start of one of the shortest rivers in the world, Powell River, which falls from there right into the ocean. That's Harwood Island in the near distance. And a little further away up north is Savory Island. Can't wait to get the Spirit of Mackenzie airborne and explore the beautiful coastline and islands, beaches and lakes. So now that I know that the gear actuator system works, essentially, I'm going to spend some time now cleaning it up. And by that, I mean these circuit boards for the relays right now are just mounted in a temporary position to allow me to get to this stage. But here behind the seat and at the bottom of this gap behind the seat, they're in a very precarious position. So I'm going to relocate them to a final position where they're protected. And it's been suggested to me by Jim Ratte of Recreational Mobility that I mount them somewhere up here, ahead of the fuel tank and underneath the board that lies in here that forms the bottom of the luggage deck. So perhaps off this angle somehow, behind the main bulkhead. Then once I have the relay board mounted in its final position, that allows me to clean up the wiring harness. This spaghetti arrangement of wiring can be secured in its final position and bundled together and anchored. I also need to slightly relocate on both sides these upper micro switches so that the limits are depressed when the linkage is in this position. I then need to mount the circuit breaker and drill these 4 holes and place the green and blue LED lights. And at that point, the landing gear system for both the main wheels and the tail wheel will be done. I can move on to another system. So now I've relocated this grounding attachment strip. It used to be down here. I've pulled it up to here, gets it a bit out of the way, and then I can tidy up these ground wires later. And I've decided I'm going to put this relay circuit board in here behind the bulkhead in front of the shelf for the luggage, and this will place it slightly above the gas filter, and directly above the fuel pump, and also close to the main grounding lug and beside the brake fluid reservoir. So it's quite a congested area, which of course is a drawback. But the main positive effect is it's out of the way of the seat, which comes back to here, of anything going between the bulkhead and the seat, say a paddle or something. And it's protected from above because it has to be supported, obviously. So I think what I'll do is put a couple of metal bars out from here, anchored into this bulkhead tube, and from those two metal bars I'll hang a piece of aluminum angle, and that's what this will bolt to down in its little cubby hole. So it'll be protected by the aluminum supports above it, which will be screwed into place and bolted, so relatively easy to take out if I have to do something with the wiring or the relays. Okay, time to fabricate this support, which will be done with a piece of aluminum angle stock I have and a piece of flat bar. Okay, let's get creative and do some metalworking. I love this part. So there you go, about 30 minutes work. I like metal fabrication. So there's the relays hanging down underneath this protective support I've designed in my head. So let's see how it would work in the actual position. And it will go into position right here. So all I have to do now is drill and tap 2 holes down into that square aluminum tubing that forms the upper member of the bulkhead. Okay, coming along nicely. So the little support bracket is now made for the relay's circuit board, and the wiring is reattached, and now I'll just lower it down into place and screw it in, and that should be that. But of course I'll test it first. Well, hello. First off, let me say it is hot. This area from Powell River down to Vancouver on the west coast of Canada is called the Sunshine Coast. Now, as kids, we used to snicker when we heard that because it seemed to be raining more often than not, preventing us from playing in the absence of sunshine. But over the last 4 or 5 days, we've had an abnormal hot spell here. It is a critical period right now. There are people dying of heat stroke and exhaustion in the local area, so it's quite dramatic. And so to prevent any difficulties for myself and Sammy, she's wearing her water-soaked jacket and is mostly in the shade. I, being a human, not so much in the shade, but I do have a cold beverage here in an insulating holder. It says, "I build, test, fly it." Experimental Aircraft Association. Yeah. So anyway, building, yes, building it, building the Spirit of Mackenzie. Testing, yeah, as I've said in the Test Pilot Corner in previous episodes. I've already invited two eminent people in the aviation field, amply qualified to be the test pilot of the Spirit of Mackenzie. First off is Chris Hadfield, astronaut and International Space Station commander from Canada, and also Harrison Ford, aka Han Solo, aka Indiana Jones. Now, both of these fine gentlemen and aviators have yet to reply to my invitation to be the test pilot, but fear not, I have a backup who I will reveal to you in a later episode, and the test pilot regime is being planned as we speak, and we will not fail in this regard. Will we, Sam? Eh? Okay, I'll make this short, Sammy. We'll get you into the pool very soon, get you a drink, okay? So what I wanted to talk to you about today is a life skill, the third one that I'm going to renew. Something I knew how to do earlier in my life, but put aside for a while. And at my ripe old age now, I'm going to make sure that I get this skill back before it's too late. Now, in an earlier episode, we did the bagpipes. That's coming along. We also did the mountain unicycle. The unicycle didn't do so well on film, at least, and I did even worse off film. I managed to rip the back of my leg open. And once that heals up a bit more, I'll get maybe some Kevlar pants or something, and try that unicycle again. But for today's episode, third lost skill I'm going to reclaim. My equipment came in this little box. I'm doing it like this. I'm opening it so that you know I have not practiced. I have not tried. Okay, there we go. One. And three. Okay, here we go. When I was in university, I did know how to juggle 3 balls, hoops, sharp pointed things. I could also juggle 4 balls and hoops, and I was trying 5, never succeeded. But let's see. With a space of 40 years since last doing this, let's see if I can at least juggle 3 balls. I'm pretty sure I won't injure myself like I did with the unicycle, but you never know. Okay, so children, stand back, stand up, don't chase the balls, please. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. For the first time in 40 years, juggling 3 balls. Well, okay, I know that's not very impressive, but and you didn't see any blood, but I didn't promise blood. Okay, like I say, I could at one time to juggle 4 balls. Let's see if that's possible still. Okay, this is exponentially more difficult than 3 balls. Never try it. Okay, so give me a break. Here we go. Okay, so I just drop them. And I drop. I'm sure Sammy must have barked behind me and spooked me, okay? Okay, so there you go. That's juggling after 40 years of no practice. Sammy, are you impressed? I don't promise anything with that 5th ball at all. But, okay, so, third lost life skill that I'm going to reacquire during this 6-month building, testing, and flying project duration for the Spirit of Mackenzie. It's hot. Okay, time to test. Master on.
Generator.
Turn off the generator alarm button. So I've got 1 green light. There should be 2 green lights here indicating the landing gear are down and safe to land on grass or tarmac. There's something wrong with this LED circuit. Okay, push the switch up. Gears are actuating. Gear are coming up. Okay, the 2 main gear came up, but the landing gear didn't come up. There seems to be a problem here with the internal spring mechanism, because I know if I push it, it comes up. So there must be something hung up inside the plane fuselage with the pulley and spring system. Oh well, that's not good, because as you can see, the fuselage is pretty much closed in. Okay, so two problems. But you note that with the gear in the up position, the two blue indicating safe to land on water lights LEDs are on. Okay, let's put her down. There goes the actuators, there goes the wheels, and the tail wheel went down as well. So that would indicate something wrong with the spring, which is used to pull the wheel up. Okay. I think that is enough on this system now. I've spent a lot of hours cleaning up the system, debugging it, making it work. I'm 99.9% of the way there with the landing gear. And I've put enough time in on that now. I at least feel good enough about the landing gears that I can say that they're suitable enough to allow me to test the engine. My God, will this never end? Today we're hiking a portion of the Sunshine Coast Trail, area to the northern end of Powell River called Wild. Right now we're on the side of Scout, looking down on Powell Lake. You see Cranberry Lake in the distance there, and the Westview Airport, some couple kilometers beyond that. The little knob here is called Valentine Mountain, and it sits just inside of the Powell River, historical town site. Of course, we're looking at west over the Sailor Sea, Exada Island, far distance is Vancouver Island, Mox Glacier there, middle, Harwood Island. It's a very hot day today, usually hot for the Powell River, somewhere mid-20 centigrade range. Sweaty buckets, but certainly enjoying the hike and the view. I'm certainly enjoying looking at Powell Lake, visioning water operations in the Spirit of Mackenzie in the not too distant future. Well, that I've pretty much got debugged now and straightened away, cleaned up. Just a couple of minor bugs to work out, and then I can check off the landing gear, sufficient at least, so that I can get on with what I really want to do, which is start the engine. Now, one other system I've really got to get behind me before I try starting the engine, now that I know the landing gear is stable, is the braking system. On each of the main landing gear wheels, there's a disc brake, which is actuated by this lever here. And in addition, there's going to be a parking brake, which will be a pull switch located about there. So, the mission right now, check off the landing gear actuators, install the braking system, and then move around finally to the Rotax 912 ULS 100 horsepower engine and start it up for the first time. That will be a significant milestone. This is called Mahoods Beach, where I used to come with my family when I was small, my siblings, my parents. It's a great place for kids because the tide comes out here. It says tidal flat. The tide comes in, the water gets warmed up. Pea soup, a shallow stretch here leading up to the beach. Wouldn't this be a great place to bring in an amphibious seaplane on the right tide? More modernly, this bay and someone plans to develop an eco-friendly wellness site, housing development.